Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another weekly message. I'm doing things a little bit differently, and I apologize if I keep changing everything up, but the more I'm feeling into it, into this space, into the community, into, this temple that I want to create, things need to change and kind of morph. And honestly, that's the way of the divine feminine, right? We're constantly ebbing and flowing and redirecting, and so I still want to bring to you weekly messages. But I want it to be more informative. I want it to be almost like I'm coming to temple every week, right? This is like your weekly check-in. This is your weekly time to sink into the energy of the goddess, who we're honoring, who we're learning about, who we're devoting the month to. And February is all about Lakshmi, and Lakshmi has so many beautiful gifts, so many the like generous things that she can give us, right? And so I really just want to every week kind of break it down piece by piece, right? Who is Lakshmi? Why should we work with Lakshmi? What does she represent? How can she help us? What does devotion look like to her? And really just kind of help guide you on this goddess spirituality, right? Opening up to the divine feminine. That being said, so instead of instead of weekly channeled messages, I want it to be weekly reminders of the goddess that we're focusing on, not just giving you, the devotional card, the meditation that you get each month, but really just taking time to let's sit and chat and discuss who Lakshmi is. I did a video specifically on the Morrigan and her myths last month, but I really could have broken that down and done that every single week instead of doing the weekly videos and the one video of the goddess. Let's just break it down and do, a weekly video of the goddess, if that makes sense. So I'm kind of combining these two ideas that I had to make it kind of flow and work a little bit better, not only for me, but for you, right? This gives you more information about why we're talking about Lakshmi. So I hope that makes sense. I hope you understand my thought process behind that. So instead of the weekly messages, it's now going to be called Temple Time. This is our weekly temple time where we can discuss our featured goddess of the month and go into whether it's a specific myth or whatever's coming up. Because each time that I work with goddesses, there's always a new lesson to learn, right? The deeper we sink into that aspect of the feminine or that specific deity, there's always something new that comes up, right? Or that is relevant for the time. And obviously this is always going to shift. It's going to be different each week. So today what I want to focus on is the 4 arms of Lakshmi. Lakshmi is this really beautiful Hindu goddess, but there's so much symbolism in the image of her herself, right? So I had posted a picture, if you've ever seen, a lot of statues represent Lakshmi as an elephant. But some of the paintings, the drawings, the pictures of her that we see, she's often sitting on a lotus flower, right? One leg kind of crossed over, kind of sitting, not necessarily in easy pose or crisscross applesauce. That's what, I've got kids. That's what we call it. But she's sitting on a lotus flower and she has 4 arms. And they each mean something different. The 4 arms of Lakshmi all actually represent the 4 aims of the human life in Indian philosophy. And this is called Purusartha. I hope I'm saying that right. Which are, the aims of life. So what I kind of want to go through this week is just kind of discussing that. So she's got two lower arms and two upper arms. So the lower arms represent the material pursuits in life, whereas the upper arms are the spiritual, right? The higher realms, and then we have like the lower, the earthly realms. So, and there's names for all of these, and we'll kind of go through them. The first one I want to start with is the lower left arm. For Lakshmi, this represents Artha, which is the pursuit of wealth, and she's often seen holding gold coins or like a pot of gold coins, and these coins are just spilling out of her. And as the goddess of wealth and prosperity, you know, it's important for us to recognize that we all are worthy of financial abundance, of wealth, right? Financial support, financial stability. I know for me, this has been one of the hardest things I've had to learn. I guess I grew up thinking like I had this really weird relationship with money. My parents were not smart with money. It's one of the reasons why they got divorced, and it kind of, because they were not on the same page, right? And we didn't really talk about money in my family. So it was kind of like this taboo subject. And I grew up, thinking that to pursue money was to be greedy, to be bad, that, and also having like this unconscious, whether it's like a karmic belief or like a generational belief, whatever, like that I wasn't going to get paid to be spiritual, right? I was more focused on the spiritual pursuits of life, and that I was never going to be rewarded financially for doing this, if that makes sense. So being a priestess, talking about goddesses, and creating all of these workshops and everything that I've done, I had this really difficult relationship with money, right? I felt like, I had to either suffer or work really hard to achieve financial abundance, right? That was one of the things that my mom always drove home. Like, I grew up thinking like, okay, I have to go to college. I have to do this, right? If I go to college, get my degree, I'll get a good job. That did not happen. That just was not the way of the world. And because that degree doesn't always equate success or financial abundance, right? And so I've always had this weird relationship with money, and it's something that I've worked with. I've worked a lot with Lakshmi in the past just to kind of help heal that. And I have to tell you guys this because, I love synchronicities and signs, and I fully trust and believe that the universe is always supporting me. My guides are always giving me what I need. And last month, before I even picked to honor Lakshmi for February last month, I hosted a book drive for my local women's group here in Arizona, and I was going through all the books before I donated them, and one of them stuck out, and this came from my husband's grandma. And so this was hers, and this was her father's book. So this is called The Dynamic Laws of Prosperity, and I actually snagged this out of the book drive donations, because I was like, I don't know why, but I feel like I would need to read this. This was printed in the 60s. It was first released in the 60s. So it's a really old book, but the content in it, just talking about prosperity, this is written by a minister, okay, a female minister. This is by Catherine Ponder, talking about essentially why you deserve to have financial abundance, why you deserve to have a prosperous life, and that, in fact, based on religious teachings, like, we all deserve to be wealthy, right? Every single one of us. It is our divine right to be wealthy, to experience prosperity, and to have financial abundance. It is your divine right. So already this first arm of Lakshmi, right, that represents Artha that you see from the coins, it's the pursuit of wealth. And we'll come and we'll kind of talk about all of her arms, all of these aims of the human life are all connected, right? And they all serve a purpose, and they're all kind of cogs in the wheel. And, if one doesn't work, it's hard to pursue the others. So something's kind of off. So I started reading this book. Working with Lakshmi is it's just a beautiful reminder that we all deserve financial abundance, whether you believe that or not, right? Consciously or unconsciously. Yes, in fact, money is it's divine energy, right? When we are wealthy, when we are prosperous, it allows us to pursue the things that we are passionate about. It allows us to pursue our Dharma, our life's purpose. It gives us more time and more space to do the things that we enjoy. And when we're doing those things, right, not only are we creating an energetic, like a ripple effect, right, inspiring others along and allowing, going for a trip, going across the world and visiting a new country, not only are you like exposing your children or your family or yourself to a new culture, a new way of thinking, a new way of being, right? It's this ripple effect, right? If you have money to go on vacation, right, to visit someplace new, you're creating this ripple effect in your life, right? You're able to pursue more of the things that you enjoy. If you have financial abundance, you're able to create more, right? You're following your passion. So whether you want to make music, whether you love to dance, you're able to pay for dance classes, right? Or take up photography lessons, or buy that camera that you've always wanted, or actually sit down and publish the book, write the book that you've always wanted, or get the, computer software to do all of that. So Artha is all about the pursuit of wealth. And this is why, Lakshmi is the goddess of wealth, luxury, and prosperity, because it is our divine right to be wealthy. Now, obviously, there has to be balance, right? It's when we're greedy, when we're, going overboard and hoarding our money, that's when it creates social disorder, right? We see, I don't know how many, like the top 0.01%, like how many billions of dollars that they have. Like there's this income, inequality, right? And it creates this social unrest. It creates this social disorder. And I think we see that a lot in the United States, right? That very few people hold like the majority of the money in the world, right? And then the rest of us kind of have to like struggle and just in order to put food on the table, right? But the pursuit of wealth, the pursuit of Artha is essentially to take care of ourselves, right? Whether we like money or not, money is a part of our lives. And so we have to think of it as this currency of divine energy, right? Approaching it with a different way and not hoarding it, right? Not just calling all of it in and manifesting all the abundance and then just sitting on it, right? But giving freely, allowing it to, nurture our children and grow a garden in the backyard, or, give back to our community, right? When we're not so stressed and focused on, living paycheck to paycheck, right? But we open ourselves up to the possibility of abundance, right? And understand that it is our divine right to be wealthy. It is our divine right to be prosperous. It allows us to go on and do those things that we'd want to do, right? It almost makes us it makes us a better human being. It makes those wheels and the cogs in the wheel work, right? Allowing it to rotate. Because we're not so stressed. We have more time and freedom, and we can kind of relax, and we're just, when we're comfortable, right, we're not so stressed out, right? We have the time to pursue our passions. We're better people, because of it. So I want to go on to the lower right arm of Lakshmi, and this is often seen, this represents Kama, which is Kama, the pursuit of passion or desire or love. And she's often seen, I'm doing this because this is the mudra, it's called the Abhaya mudra. And essentially it's just kind of like this, it's like blocking, right? Her hands up. And this mudra means no fear, reminding us to have no fear when it comes to pursuing our passions, going after our desires, and inviting love into our life. So we often can make excuses, right, for why we don't go after the things that we want to. Like, oh, I just don't have time, or I don't have money, right, to do the things that I'm passionate about, right? I want to start a business, but I don't have money. Again, each cog in the wheel, like they're all needed to kind of get this turning, right? So the pursuit of wealth, the pursuit of passion, right? It is our divine right to go after our passions, to do the things that bring us joy, make us happy. I fully believe that love is what makes the world go round, right? Love is the most powerful force in the world. And we feel love and we want to give love when we're doing the things that we love, right? We're going after our desires. And whether that's creating art, music, whatever it is, right? When we're going after our passions, again, it puts us in this better place in life, right? So we have so we've covered the lower arms, the material pursuits of life. So we're going to go up to the spiritual arms, right? So the upper left arm represents Dharma, and Lakshmi's often seen holding like a half open lotus. So the lotus, which she's also sitting on one, right, is a symbol of purity. Dharma in Indian philosophy represents life purpose. It is law, order, duty, righteousness, it's the cosmic law underlying social order and like right behavior, right? So our dharma, so when we're financially stable, pursuing our passions, we are then able to live out our life purpose. So if you can kind of see, like these three things that we've talked about so far are all connected, right? You need to have money and able to go after your passions, right? And oftentimes your passions are what are going to bring you money, right? Creating those things that you love, that you enjoy to create is going to bring you income, right? You will be rewarded. You'll be financially prosperous. And then we're able to go after our life purpose, our dharma. And our dharma is comprised of all of our thoughts, all of our beliefs, our consciousness, our words, our actions. Those are all affected, right? And those allow us to kind of become and embody our true nature, our true self, right? Finding that soul alignment. I mean, that's kind of dharma, right? Living from this place of truth. So when you're financially supported and you're pursuing your passions, you're able to live out your truth. So the lotus is half open on this arm, okay? And so when we go up to the upper right arm, this represents moksha, M-O-K-S-H-A. And here Lakshmi is holding a fully bloomed lotus flower. And this open lotus, this is the pursuit of self-knowledge. This is liberation. This is freedom. This is evolution. This is enlightenment. This is freedom from this death life cycle, right? It's spiritual release from life. So these three things, the first three things that we talked about, right, all point us in the direction of this self-knowledge, of enlightenment, of liberation, right? When we're able to fully step into our power, fully embody abundance and be prosperous and embody love and, are surrounded by beauty and doing the things that we love, living out our Dharma, we can then reach moksha or moksha. Say it like I'm Russian, it's Indian. um, so I love this idea that, all of these things are all interconnected, right? And each cog serves a purpose. And I love this symbolism of Lakshmi. And this is really what she can kind of help us with. So if you're like me and you need help, like you have this scarcity mindset or you're not being open to receiving, you can kind of work with that artha. You can pursue wealth, right? Feel financially stable, feel financially supported, and go after your passions, or vice versa, right? It doesn't have to lead from one to one to, 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, whatever. There's no order, right? These are all constantly going on in the background. So Lakshmi has a lot to teach us, and I hope, kind of knowing her 4 arms, what they represent, kind of gives you this better understanding of not only her as a goddess, but maybe highlighting areas that like, okay, this is something that I need to work on, or I need to, stop living in fear, right? You can practice the Abhaya mudra, um, and make more time to do the things that I love, to pursue my desires, go after my passions, or whether it's, more spiritual attunement, seeking more alignment, or living out that purpose. Like it's, you'll be able to know, hopefully. Um, or maybe you're just like, life is divine, I'm perfect, I'm living out my passions, I'm embodying all of this, and you are Lakshmi incarnate, and that is beautiful. But Lakshmi is really her main message, I think, for me, and especially this week, in understanding her arms and kind of how the 4 aims of life, kind of all work. I understand, it's stepping into and acknowledging, like, okay, it is my divine right to go after my passions, to live out my Dharma, and to be wealthy. It is my divine right. So I hope that helped. I hope you enjoyed Temple Time this week. I will continue to release new videos every Monday, and instead of that, weekly message, that short clip, it's going to be, well, it's going to be different every week, but it's going to center around Lakshmi for the month of February. So can't wait to see what comes up. I mean, you never know. But diving into her more and learning about her more, it's just, it's always a fun ride. So let me know if you have any questions. If something really resonated with you, you can just kind of leave a comment on this video. I love hearing from you, or you could message me directly on Patreon. I'm here for you, to support you in your journey and helping you to learn more about Lakshmi. I mean, that's why we're here, right? Learning about goddesses and diving into that energy of the divine feminine. So, much love to you all, and I'll see you next week.